Hi, what's up, guys, and welcome back to my reading show. Today we're starting a new story, a Ramble in Aphasia. So let's begin. My wife and I parted on the morning in precisely our usual manner. She left her second cup of tea to follow me to the front door. There she plucked from my label, the invisible strand of lint, strand of lint, the universal act of woman to proclaim ownership, and bade me take care of my cold. I had no cold. Next came her kiss of parting, the level kiss of domesticity flavored with young hyson. There was no fear or the extemp extemporo extemporaneous 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 of variety spicing her infinity custom with the deft touch of long malpractice. She dabbed awry dabbed awry Ori, Awry, my well set scarf pin, and then, as I closed the door, I heard her morning slippers pattering back, pattering back, pattering back to her cooling tea. When I set out, I had no thought of premonition, premonition, of what was to occur. The attack came suddenly. For many weeks I had been toiling, almost night and day at a famous railroad law case that I won triumphantly but a few days previously. In fact, I had been digging away, digging away at the law almost without cessation, cessation for many years. Once or twice, good Dr. Wolney, my friend and physician, had warned me, if you don't slacken up, Belford, he said, you will go suddenly to pieces. Either your nerves or your brain will give away. Tell me, does a week pass in which you don't read in the papers of a case of Aphasia, of some man lost, wandering nameless, with his past and his identity blotted out, blotted out, blot out, and all from that little brain clot made by overwork or worry. I always thought, said I, that the clot in those instances was really to be found on the brains of the newspaper reporters. Dr. Wolney shook his head. The disease exists, he said. You need a change or a rest. Courtroom, office, and home. There is the only road you travel. For recreation, you read law books. Better take warning in time. On Tuesday nights, I said defensively, my wife and I play cribbage, cribbage. On Sundays, she reads to me the weekly letter from her mother that law books are not a recreation remains yet to be established. That morning, as I walked, I was thinking of Dr. Wolony's words. I was feeling as I felt as I usually did, possibly in better spirits than usual. I awoke with stiff and cramped muscles. Stiff and cramped muscles. From having slept long on the incommodious seat of a day coach. I leaned my head against the seat and tried to think. After a long time, I said to myself, I must have a name of some sort. I searched my pockets. No, no, not a card, not a letter, not a paper of monogram could I find. But I found in my coat pocket nearly 3,000 in bills of large denomination. I must be someone, I must be someone, of course, I repeated to myself, and began again to consider. The car was well crowded with men, among whom I told myself there must have been some common interest, for they intermingled and intermingled, intermingled, intermingled freely, and seemed in the best good humor and spirits. One of them, a stout, spectacled gentleman, spectacled gentleman, enveloped in a decided odor of cinnamon and aloes, took the vacant half of my seat with friendly nod and unfolded a newspaper. In the intervals between his periods of reading, we conversed as travelers, as travelers, as travelers will, on current affairs. I found myself able to sustain the conversation on such subjects with credit, at least to my memory. By my companion said, "You are one of us, of course. Fine lot of men of the West, sense in time. I'm glad that they held the convention in New York. I've never been East before. My name's R.P. Boulder and Sons, of Hickory Grove, Missouri." Though unprepared, I rose to the emergency as a man well put to it. Now must I hold a christening and be at once babe, parson, and parent. My senses came to the rescue of my slower brain. The insistent odor of drugs from my companion supplied one idea. A glance at his newspaper, where my eye met a conspicuous advertisement, assisted me further. "My name," said I glibly, "is Edward Pinhammer. I'm a druggist, and my home is in Cornopolis, Kansas." I knew you were a druggist," said my fellow traveler affably. I saw the claw spot on your right forearm, where the handle of the pastel rubs, pastel rubs. Of course, you are a delegate to our national convention. Are all these men's druggists? I asked wonderingly. They are. This car came through from the west, and they are all-time druggists too. None of your pa- none of your patient tablet and gran tablet and granule pharmas, pharmaceutists that use slot machines instead of prescription desks. We percolate our own perigrotic, perigrotic, and roll our own pills. And we ain't above handling a few garden seeds in the spring and carrying a sideline of confectionery and shoes. Confectionery. I tell you, Hampunker, I've got an idea to spring on our convention. New ideas is what they want. Now you know the self bottles of tartar emetic, emetic and Rochelle salt and epod tart and salt et pot tart. One's poison, you know, and the other's harmless. Harmless. It's easy to mistake our one label for the other. Where do druggists mostly keep them? Why, as far apart as possible on different shelves. That's wrong. I say keep them side by side. So when you want one, you can always compare it with the other and avoid mistakes. Do you catch the idea? It seems to me a very good one, I said. All right. When I spring it on the convention, you bag it up. We'll make some of this Eastern orange hos phosphate. Orange phosphate. Phosphate, guys. And massage cream professors. That thing that they are the only lo- lozenges, lozenges, lozenges in the market look like hypodermic tablets. Hypodermic. If I can't be of any aid, I said, warming, that two bottles of tartar in an antim of tart tartrate 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 of antimony and potash. Antimony and potash. Antimony and potash. And tartrate of soda and potash. Shall henceforth sit side by side and concluded firmly. Now there is another thing, said Mr. Boulder. For an for an excipient in manipulating a pill mass, which do you prefer? The magnesia carbonate or the pulverized glacier radics. Pulverized glacier radics. Pulverized glucose radics. They are magnesia acid. It was easier to say than the other word. Mr. Bowler glanced at me distrustfully through his spectacles. Give me the glyceriza, said he. Magnesia cakes. Here is another one of these fake Aphasia cases, he said, presently handing me his newspaper and laying his finger upon an article. I don't believe in them. I put 9 out of 10 of them down as frauds. A man gets sick of his business and his folks and wants to have a good time. To have a good time. He skips out somewhere, and when they find him, pretends to have lost his memory, don't know his own name, and won't even recognize the strawberry mark on his wife's left shoulder. Aphasia. Thought, why can't they stay at home and forget? I took the paper and read after the pungent headlines the following. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to me today, and see you tomorrow in the next part. See you. Bye.